Greetings and salutations in service to the one I am, Amber Dawn Star, practical mystic, energetic activist, and for almost 35 years, master breathologist. Welcome back to my community. Well, the last few weeks have been quite the wild ride, right? In the world, in our lives, in our consciousness, in what we see outside of ourselves, the last gasp effort of the toxic masculine to take over the world and be all that about it, and that, you know, they they have the ego of someone that feels that this is still, you know, the dark ages. I've been saying this before on this channel that the things that have happened for the last 2100 years in the Piscean Age will not fly in the Aquarian Age, and that's where we are now. We are in the Aquarian Age, and so all of those ideals and ideas and what people think about and that have happened in the past, and so it worked then, so it's going to work now, are not going to work now. And that's why Ukraine has already won this war. And won it before it even started. Because here we are, you know, the light and the dark. Basically, the new and the old. Basically, that's what's happening. Ukraine is like, we're not going to do this with you, Russia. And Russia is like, well, you know, still thinking, you know, they're a great superpower, which we've all realized, hopefully by now, that they are not, because they assumed that this was just going to be like, you know, wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. And no, because it's not going to work anymore. That whole push power down your throat, macho, machismo, toxic masculine bull crap is not going to fly anymore. It can't. It's not sustainable. It has been for quite some time, and now it is not. Thank you that it is not. And we are seeing that in all aspects now, right? Everywhere. I've said also on this video before my other videos that the only safety that we have now is in our hearts and in our consciousness and in our alignment with Source. That's it. Because as you see on the news, every flip-flopping minute, there's another mass shooting and people are going off the rails. And we saw that. We saw that a couple of weeks ago with, you know, the most startling Academy Awards I've ever seen. And I've been watching them, you know, about 65 years. So that was pretty telling of a wound that has not been turned into a scar. If any of you are following me on this, you know what I'm talking about. The emotional wounding of Will Smith is something that he has not ever turned into a scar, or he would not have reacted that way. And it took all of that. It took his whole life of finally achieving his goal, his dream. And in the same time, the light and the dark in the same moment. Which way was it going to go? And that choice that was made in that now moment was obviously towards the dark. And I'm only saying the dark as in the shadow. We all have one. The bigger the light, the bigger the shadow. Will Smith is a very big light on this planet. He's given a lot of people a lot of joy. And He also is human, and he also has his own life and his own things that are going on. And so even if he worked and did it and made it and had it happen, the wound, which is the shadow, came right up and knocked him all the way down. And that's what happens. We must heal our wounds if we want to have everything that we think that we want and really be in that alignment with what it is our heart and soul and our consciousness want, because that is what is going to be sustainable. All the rest of this is not sustainable. I was in a supermarket today, and I'm walking up and down the aisles, and I'm just, there's not very much to really nourish me in this supermarket. Because of course, those are all run by Big Agra. And all of this is all playing into each other. It's all combining, all the corporations, everything that's running, the billionaires that's really running the show, that's behind the scenes that are really running the show. A few people, maybe a dozen on the planet running the whole flipping thing. And of course they think that, because they have been doing it that way for so long, that they will continue. However, there are more awake souls now on this planet that have ever been on this planet and will continue to awaken. And I am honored to be part of the team, the volunteers. Next time I'm going to read that fine print a little better. The first wave of volunteers, they came in, about 70 years ago. And have been getting, ready, transforming everything, and, until so now that this part could happen. And I'm so glad that this part is happening, because what is going to be sustained in this next evolutionary jump of humanity is to stay in the alignment of love and light and consciousness. That's where we're moving. That is what is sustainable. That is what the Aquarian Age is about. It's about reaching for the outer within the scope of how incredible life really is and how blessed we are to be part of it. I trust and hope that you feel blessed to be a part of this incredible journey that we're on. I do, and I know that what has saved me through this is my breath. All of the studying, all of the lectures, all of the books, all of the everything that I've done in my life to get me to this moment, the breath is to me the key. And the conscious holy breath, which I am honored to do, is about clearing the trauma, the emotional wounds that are held in the emotional body. And that, with my guides and angels and masters and teachers, as well as yours, I am an incredible conduit. It is Source that is with you and healing you and your guides and angels and masters and teachers. I'm there to hold the space and to do what I'm told to do for you, to have you, help you move through the wound and get to the scar. Because when you get to the scar, you will be amazed at how much energy you have again. The wound is a lot of weight. A lot of weight in the psyche, in the heart, in the body. A lot of weight the wound carries. And so even though, you think, you see these people and you think, oh my God, they have all this money and they have their lifestyle and they have everything they want and they must be so happy. And then, you look behind the curtain and you see that obviously there's a lot of baggage going on there. Not just with Will, his wife also. I mean, that whole thing, not just him. That relationship and and what's going on there, that he had to somehow prove himself, which is the wound. As successful as this man is on this planet, he still was brought down by his wound. And unless you heal that wound and let it become a scar, it will run your life. You might think that you're in charge. You might think that you know what's happening and you're just right there making these decisions and these choices, in your rational mind. But I'm here to tell you that 99% of your choices are underwater, which means they are subconscious. The conscious mind is the tip. The subconscious is under the water. And until you make that conscious, then that's what's running the show. And we've seen that, right? We've seen that now acting out on the world stage with a war. You got to figure that, Putin has got to have a lot of wounds that have never, ever turned into scars, right? And, the North Korea guy, him too. I mean, all of them that are still, acting out this toxic masculinity of the last, several thousand years. I mean, you understand why they think they can do this still. But, the energy is changing, it's shifting, the frequency is raising, the vibration is accelerating. And we who are ready and want to make this quantum leap this lifetime into the fifth dimension from the third can. As long as we can be clear enough and be scarred enough. It's not about being perfect. We're already perfect. We're perfectly imperfect. How can you say that, all that is, imperfect? I mean, it's part of God, so, at least in my belief system. So that's, where we're at right now. That we're raising. If you want to go, if you want to grab that gold ring this life, you can. And you have to do the work, inner work, breath work, all kinds of work. Not just breath work, but for me, the conscious holy breath has been the transformation of my life. And my clients' lives also. So, just know that this is all happening. It's all orchestrated. It's in divine timing. It's all happening to wake people up. Because there's a shift that at some point is going to really happen in the twinkling of an eye, as it says in the Bible. And then we're doing something else, and the people that are still in their wounds will still be here. I don't know about you, but I personally have worked hard enough this lifetime and all the lifetimes that got me to this one. Gold ring. I am going, and I am there a lot, actually. I'm feeling like more and more that I'm actually more there. So I don't know how many more of these I'm going to be doing. At least from this dimension. Who knows? You never know. I don't. I'm certainly trusting and having faith that it's all in order. Divine timing, divine order. I believe that. So what you're seeing now is the ending of a cycle that is no longer sustainable. And that cycle's been going on for Well, the last age of 2,100 years, but you figure the patriarchy about 6,000 years. So that's a lot of shite that's been swept under the rug. The rug is like, taller than the ceiling. So that's what's happening. It's all up. So you can decide, okay, look, I don't want to be a part of that anymore. And yet I still have these feelings of, anxiety, frustration. I'm scared. I don't know what to do. What's my purpose? What if? And what happens when you breathe the conscious holy breath is that it brings you into the moment. Now, which is what we have, right? We have now. Excuse me. Now is all we have. So, excuse me. The past is, usually guilt and shame, and the future is anxiety. When you can bring yourself into the moment, you can allow those energies to be exactly where they are, and you can transmit a frequency that allows you to keep breathing in this moment and accept and allow and let it move through you instead of attaching. Because that's what happens. These wounds stay sticky. Oh, gosh, yeah. Excuse me. Sticky, see? Talking about the sticky wounds. Since I barely know what I'm doing here with all this, I won't be able to edit that out. Sorry. Okay, well, I think that's what Spirit wanted me to convey, that all of what's happening since we last shared any time together, the war, the OSCARS, the freaking dropping a nuclear bomb in South Korea if they don't, measure up to what the North Koreans want, and every single thing, the housing, the food, the earth, the pharmacies, the pharmaceutical companies, the billionaires, all of this is shifting and changing. And the only things that will make it through are the energies that are aligned in their heart, in their consciousness, and with their high self and source. So as dark as it looks out there right now, know that those energies will collapse. And the energies that are, our banking systems, our school systems, our health systems, they're all crumbling. They're all breaking down because they need to. They don't work. And they haven't worked for a long time. So focus on the love buds that are breaking through, because that's happening too. There's a lot of consciousness on this planet right now. Be part of the consciousness, please, so that we can all move into the next level where love is how we learn our lessons, not fear. What? What? Concept, right? Wrap your mind around that one. All right, kids. Well, I think that's what I wanted to say. I was like, okay, I've been saying that I, wanted to do it on the 3-6-9 days, and, it's just been nuts. Another thing that happened in this whole time frame in my personal life was letting go of my familiar black and white Manx Daddy. Black and white Manx. Elliot. Like E.T. 15 years. Still grieving. That just happened several days ago. So that's what's happening. The death, the rebirth, the death, the rebirth. Grieve the death that means something to you, but also remember there is a rebirth happening as well. Put your focus on that. Let your feelings, feel them. Let them come through over the grief and the death. Let that happen. And don't stay there. Keep breathing. Get yourself into the moment so that you can be ready for the future, because the past is holding on to your power. And you and me and all of us that had a clue need all of our power right now. So we don't want it in the wound. Got me? Okay, that's all. Thank you for joining me again. And I will be doing this as spontaneously as I can with everything else that's going on. And I will keep doing this as long as Spirit keeps wanting me to. So, Om Namah Shivaya. In Lakach. Namaste. El Kalimam. See you soon. ASAP. Bye for now. Oh, wait. Gotta turn off the button. Bye.